ritual killing in Berlin, a new plan to save the world from climate disaster, and a grand imperial wizard of the Ku Klux Klan found dead. It's SkyWatch TV for Tuesday, February 14th, 2017. I'm Derek Gilbert. First up, a huge sinkhole has opened at the highest dam in the United States. Nearly 200,000 people have been evacuated downstream from the Oroville Dam in California after rushing water tore a hole in the middle of the emergency spillway. A year of heavy rain has completely stressed the dam at Lake Oroville, reversed the situation from the end of 2015 when the lake was at 1/3 capacity, which is the second lowest level ever recorded in its history. It's now at maximum capacity, and when the state increased the water release rate to 65,000 cubic feet per second, it tore a hole in the emergency spillway. The good news as of late Sunday night was that the release of water down the main spillway, which you see in the foreground of the image here, has stopped water from going over the emergency spillway, but a new round of storms is expected later this week. The goal is to try to lower the level in the lake to the point that the new water will not force more of the lake down that emergency spillway. In Idaho, flooding a problem there as well. Heavy snow there this winter has been followed by a fast melt, putting water everywhere. Governor Otter of Idaho has declared four more counties, disaster areas on Saturday. That makes 17 out of the state's 44 counties with some sort of disaster declaration in place. And in the Northeast, more snow there. Another heavy winter storm over the weekend pounded the Northeast with up to 2 feet of snow, more in some cases. Boston got about 3.5 inches. Portland, Maine, reporting between 10 and 13 inches of snow. Authorities across eastern New England reporting dozens of car crashes, hundreds of flight cancellations and school cancellations all across the area. Other sites in New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, between 9 and 13 inches of snow. This, coupled with wind gusts of 40 to 60 miles an hour over the weekend, knocked out power in places from Washington, D.C. all the way up to Boston. Makes the winter we're having here in the Ozarks seem positively balmy. In other news, not related to weather or natural disasters, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on his way to Washington, D.C. for a meeting with President Trump. He'll also meet with Vice President Pence and Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. They're expected to talk about Iran, Syria, Russia, Sunni Arab regimes in the Mideast, and the Palestine Liberation Organization, probably in that order. They may also discuss one of President Trump's campaign promises, which is moving the American embassy in Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. A possible sign that the Trump administration will not defend a government directive to America's schools requiring that they allow students to use whichever restroom they feel corresponds to their internal gender. U.S. Department of Justice has withdrawn a request for a stay of injunction against the Obama administration's directive, their transgender restroom policy. After that was announced last summer, 13 states sued the Obama administration over the directive, which threatened school districts with a loss of federal funding if they didn't follow a rather creative interpretation of Title IX. In August, U.S. District Judge Reed O'Connor ruled that the Department of Justice and Department of Education had not followed proper channels in issuing this directive to schools and universities, and suggesting that their interpretation of the law was incorrect to boot. So the Justice Department filed for a temporary, or rather partial, stay against Judge O'Connor's ruling, which would have applied only to the 13 states that had sued the government. Well, before that ruling could take effect, there was a change in administration, and now the Trump administration's Justice Department, headed up by new Attorney General Jeff Sessions, has withdrawn the motion, meaning they're not going to enforce it, the transgender bathroom policy. Needless to say, transgender advocacy groups are not pleased. In Tennessee, the legislature there is considering a bill that would protect motorists who hit protesters trying to block a roadway, as long as the driver exercises due care. This is probably in response to the Black Lives Matter protest on Interstate 40 last year that closed down a busy bridge at Memphis, blocked traffic, which included the parents of a very sick baby. The sheriff's department had to escort an ambulance up the wrong side of the interstate in order to take the baby essentially had to hand off the baby to the EMT, and then the driver had to go 25 minutes out of his way to get to the closest hospital. Minnesota, Indiana, Iowa, and North Dakota considering similar bills, again, to protect drivers from civil judgment in the case of hitting a protester on a roadway. Coming up, a grisly ritual murder in Germany. That's next on SkyWatch TV.
12 global experts present what they believe you'll see before the year 2025 in the explosive new book, I Predict. And we here at SkyWatch TV want to help equip you to face future challenges. And that's why we're offering some invaluable materials absolutely free when you purchase I Predict from the SkyWatch TV store for a limited time. While supplies last, when you purchase I Predict from the SkyWatch TV store, you'll also receive absolutely free Survive the Coming Storm. When food, gas, and other imperative resources become scarce, everything else will become dramatically more expensive, coupled with a rise in crime. Join author Ray Gano as he uses examples from history as well as from the Bible to explain what you can do to prepare and survive the coming storm. Plus, you'll also receive free Evangelpreneur from I Predict contributing author Josh Tolley. Evangelpreneur will teach you how to get your financial life to line up with your faith life, how to save your family and your church from financial ruin, and how to use sound financial planning to do God's work on earth. Altogether, this incredible offer holds a retail value of over $50, now for only $19.99 plus shipping and handling. So take advantage and equip yourself for future challenges with this incredible I Predict special offer available now at SkyWatchTVStore.com.
In Germany, a migrant has been accused of beheading his girlfriend. This is being described as a ritualistic killing. The refugee from Congo had applied for immunity status, asylum, in Berlin. He allegedly stabbed his girlfriend 30 times before beheading her corpse and then decorating the body with stones, string, and feathers, hence the description as ritualistic. Prosecutors want the man committed to a psych ward. They believe he's suffering from paranoid delusions and religious delusions, paranoid schizophrenia and religious delusions. Thing is, this is often the response in the West to cases like this. Instead of recognizing the work of intelligent evil for what it is, we tend to assume that there's a psychiatric problem at work here. Here in our state of Missouri, the imperial wizard of the traditionalist American Knights of the Ku Klux Klan was found dead Saturday near his home in southeast Missouri. 51-year-old Frank Ancona was discovered near the Big River. He had disappeared last Wednesday morning, found shot in the head. Police say a safe in Ancona's home was forced open with a crowbar and emptied of its contents. Firearms also missing from Ancona's home. His group is one of several around the country that use the name Ku Klux Klan, and they don't get along with one another. Ancona has been very outspoken about the other groups, and they weren't fans of his. Police are investigating that aspect of Ancona's death. A spokesman for a watchdog group said that the Klan, in general, is not what it was 30 years ago, that at most around the country, there are probably a couple thousand that follow the KKK's ideology. In Syria, another battle coming soon for the ancient city of Palmyra, which was recently recaptured by the Islamic State. They had been driven out by the Syrian government military last year. Russia released drone footage over the weekend showing destruction of some of the historic sites in the city. You see here the famous amphitheater at Palmyra, mainly destroyed. The Russian Defense Ministry said Monday that Syrian government troops are advancing toward the town, about 12 miles outside town. Again, a battle for Palmyra ready to take place shortly. Another idea to save the world from climate change, put forward by climate alarmists. A team of physicists at Arizona State University want to save the world by refreezing the Arctic ice cap. Their plan would use 10 million wind-powered pumps to pump water from below the ice cap to the surface where it would refreeze, thus thickening the cap. They figure it could add another 3 feet or so to the ice cap, which normally runs between 6 and 10 feet thick, melting away mostly in the summer months. The price tag of this plan, they figure at about $500 billion. While this isn't as crazy as the proposal a few years back to actually move the Earth's orbit further from the sun, you still have to ask, what could possibly go wrong? And finally, I guess when it comes to artificial intelligence fears, if you can't beat them, join them. That's the message of billionaire Elon Musk, who very famously last year said that in trying to create an autonomous artificial intelligence, we are literally summoning the demon. Now he says that if we don't merge with technology, we will become irrelevant. In this age of artificial intelligence, where computers can communicate at trillions of bits per second, and you and me are limited to maybe, 10 bits per second, and that's if you're a fast typist, Musk says we're going to need to develop some sort of high-speed interface between artificial intelligence and our own brains. Otherwise, we're going to get left behind. Of course, we've seen how this plays out like 30 years ago. I am Locutus of Borg. From this day forward, you will service us. Now, look, setting aside the fear of being assimilated, there's no question that a disruption in our society is coming thanks to artificial intelligence. And it doesn't even take an artificial superintelligence or an autonomous AI to accomplish this. You've been watching the news, you see the stories popping up almost every week about new tests of a driverless vehicle, driverless cars, driverless trucks. As our population ages, the desirability, the demand for driverless vehicles will probably increase. If it's a choice between staying home because you can't find a driver or a taxi or a bus to get where you want to go, or being in a driverless car, I think more of us, tail end of the baby boomers, will start opting for the driverless cars. But where it's really going to hurt, long-haul truckers, over-the-road truckers, those guys make a decent living. They work hard, but they make a decent living. But if you can replace a guy who's limited to working 11 hours a day with an AI that can drive a truck 24/7, a lot of jobs are going to be eliminated by robotics and artificial intelligence in the years ahead. But ultimately, setting that aside, this whole drive to develop an artificial superintelligence and a high-speed brain-computer interface is about trying to fulfill the lie from the garden. Ye shall be as gods. Now, there are skeptics who will point at us at SkyWatch TV, defend our films because of our film Inhuman, the award-winning documentary about the transhumanist movement, and accuse us of being afraid of technology. That's not it. We're not afraid of tech. We love tech. We love science. But we are raising up a generation, we've raised up several generations now, that have replaced God with science. We worship science, and we look to science for our ultimate salvation. That is what we're warning against. There are skeptics, in fact, some other Christian ministries have said that we're alarmists because the science is so complex, we will never achieve this brain-computer interface. They may well be right, but that's beside the point. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter whether scientists will actually achieve this goal or not. All they have to do, from the enemy's perspective, is get people to believe it and replace faith in Jesus Christ with faith in Intel. Find us online at skywatchtv.com. Our program this week, rather appropriate considering that last story, a discussion between 4 of the authors in the new book, I Predict What 12 Global Experts Believe You Will See by 2025. Dr. Gordon MacDonald, Joel Richardson, Josh Peck, and yours truly. You'll find dates and listings at the website, skywatchtv.com/channels. And you'll find all of my stuff online at derekpgilbert.com. We thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is SkyWatch TV.